Good morning, Mr. and Madam Chairman, as well as everyone who's watching. Today, I'd like to explain about my study, which is titled Teacher Struggle in Online Learning During COVID-19 Pandemic and its Impact on Pedagogical Competence by me, Adam Kristianto. All right, so we have the table of contents here. The COVID-19 pandemic has become a global pandemic that has forced many countries to conduct online learning. The definition of online learning can be defined as using a computer and the internet in the learning process as a method intended to enhance students' learning experience, according to Baik from 2011. Over the years, online learning has gained support and is welcomed by students, teachers, and educators due to the fact that it offers many opportunities and many positive impacts. However, those supports and positive impacts are proven in a fair situation, which means that both party, the teacher and the students, have similar opportunities in their hand. Recent studies have said that there are three requirements needed to conduct online learning, one of which is facilities, adjustment, as well as the regulations. However, there are struggles in online learning due to the pandemic, such as mentioned here. And what are the connections to pedagogical competence? It is hinted that the present struggles from these previous studies here might have impact on teachers' pedagogical competence because pedagogical competence itself can be enhanced with activities, one of which is proven here from Unika et al. In 2021. Therefore, theoretically, it can be impacted. Okay, so pedagogical competence itself usually has connection with the minimum professional standard as a teacher, which are specified under law or rules, and their behavior in encouraging efficiency of an activity, according to Suciu and Mata from 2011. And pedagogical competence for Indonesian EFL teacher, according to Mendikbud from 2007, is the ability to understand language competencies in English, such as linguistic, discourse, sociolinguistic, and strategic, and fluency in the English language, written, oral, receptive, and productive. However, in the result of the COVID-19 pandemic, teachers are expected to be able to make adjustment in a concise amount of time to implement online learning, where it could be problematic due to the fact that previous studies here from Lengkanawati has mentioned that not every teacher is competent enough in the language they teach. And therefore, studies are needed to understand the impact between the struggles and the teacher's pedagogical competence. Study proposed, investigate struggles on the second year of COVID-19 pandemic. And while uncovering the struggles that are present are needed, understanding how a teacher is going through process by process is profoundly important. So understanding teachers' perspective about certain conditions that are happening to them is one of way to understand causes, impact, and transformation towards certain situations, as mentioned here. And from this understanding, as teachers understand and aware of their struggles, it can bring impact on teachers' pedagogical competence. In other words, they have to navigate themselves through the struggles that they have in order to bring positive impact to their pedagogical competence. The leading RQs are, what are the struggles do Indonesian English teachers face in conducting online learning? And how do the struggles impact teachers' pedagogical competence? The method, qualitative research will be used here, and qualitative research focus on a phenomenon and interpretation rather than data and quantity. And it will be helpful to also use longitudinal to understand a pattern or changes that are happening. Narrative inquiry is also used as a way to understand phenomenon through process by process, through teacher's perspective. However, there are certain risks in doing narrative inquiry because it revolves around the subject. One of which is that the result can be double-edged. Therefore, the study cannot be generalized and portray all Indonesian English teachers in Indonesia. Collection and analysis, I will use semi-structured interview as well as various follow-up questions, depending on where the interviewee is going with his or her answer. The subject is female Indonesian EFL teacher. She has been teaching English for over 20 years. And due to anonymity, I will also implement a pseudonym as suggested by Dornier. Result. There are 5 main themes established here. The themes are as mentioned, first, unpredictability, middle generation, concern for the vulnerable, teachers' pedagogical competence, and reflections. So the first theme, this theme captured the situation of COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia with the ever-changing regulation that circulates in the second year. So in the second year of COVID-19 pandemic, language teachers like we faced long-term impact of uncertainty with the regulations regarding education of the pandemic. With the recent policy on the second year of COVID-19 pandemic ordered by the Ministry of Education and Culture of Indonesia to implement blended learning and hybrid learning, it could broaden the struggles and impact to the teacher. We also mentioned that it is quite exhausting since she has to do it all over again with the current situations that she has there. And this uncertainty that we face is also faced by other teachers all around the world. And this kind of uncertainty has a portion of impact on teachers' pedagogical competence related to preparation, students' understanding, as well as students' development. Second theme, middle generation. As a teacher that interacts daily with people from across generation, we also face with certain situation of being the middle generation, which makes we aware of the struggles that happened from different perspectives. As a result, it makes Wiwi develop the ability to changes. And due to Wiwi's confidence with the backgrounds and knowledge that she has and facilities that already support it, she gained a relatively positive impact. So this suggests that when the pre-requirements are met, some struggles can be overcome. And this positive impact is also noticed in the study conducted by Al-Zahrani and Otole from 2017 and Ambiar in 2020, with online learning in well-maintained settings where facilities and pre-requirements are met. Number 3, concern for the vulnerable. So Wiwi's concern for the vulnerable, namely the people around here, magnifies the impact of online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this concern that Wiwi faced actually reflect on what has happened to other teachers who might experience struggles and challenges during the pandemic. As mentioned by many studies, that indicates struggles have existed when talking about teachers' pedagogical competence. And Wiwi's concern about her students is also another example of how students-related issues can have impact on teachers in conducting online learning, which in some case, if not maintained, can bring negative impacts. Number 4, Wiwi's experience as an English teacher for over decades are still impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So moreover, due to the unpredictability nature of the situation that is happening, Wiwi has to adapt and be flexible as a teacher, which is one of the traits that teachers need to have, according to Mendikbud from 2007. And the ability to handle multiple approach to the students, such as providing feedback, is also one of the traits teachers need to have too. So here are some of the examples on how abrupt situations, such as COVID-19 pandemic, can bring impact to teachers' pedagogical competence. However, as mentioned by previous studies, that not every teacher is satisfied with the current online learning due to the struggles, as well as not every teacher has the pre-requirements met. And due to this, other teachers with different condition might have different kinds of impact as well as different mindset and perspective. So teachers who are aware and adaptable to the situations can keep an open mind to many opportunities and experience, right? And Wiwi, as an individual, has already shown a positive impact from COVID-19 pandemic. And also as a teacher, have already shown progress and impacts in teachers' pedagogical competence. Conclusion and discussion. COVID-19 pandemic has shown impact on teachers' pedagogical competence, whether it's good or bad. And the impact mentioned from other researchers are present. However, it's not Wiwi who actually experiencing it. And even if the requirements are satisfied, struggles are still present. And the outcome is that the struggles can be minimized if the teachers master their pedagogical competence. Experiencing struggles can impact their pedagogical competence, as well as the pedagogical competence itself that can be the cause of the struggles. Final recommendation, teachers should start adapting themselves by developing their mindset first. Teachers should understand that changes will happen as situation and the world change. With this renewed mindset, some suggestions are for them to learn how to enrich their digital pedagogy, widen their learning resources through trainings, workshops, seminars, or through new learning methods for conducting teaching and learning activities. And lastly, develop collaborative learning. Okay, so here are the references and bibliography. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much and have a nice day.